Evening. Welcome to the Man Cave. Today we're about a week out of Gen Con now and slowly catching up with some of the stuff that we picked up. Today I want to go through our Hero Quest stuff. My primary goal was to get the Jungles of Delthrak, which I was able to do. When I purchased it at Gen Con, they threw in this little tin of dice, which are these green jungle themed dice, which are a little bit different than the free ones that they were giving away at the booth, which look more like Mountain Dew, and that's these here. My whole gaming group was able to grab some, and nobody there wanted them, so I'm the only Hero Quest guy, so they gave them to me. So I now have a whole set plus an extra one of those. So, and then this was the map pack that they gave away this year. If you look at this board, it's very different from our normal Hero Quest board because this is what is going to be on the back side of First Light. One of the things they did this year was they made all of the glyphs here on the side accurate to the size. So this is the size you would need to put the little monsters and the little items in the maps. And on the back side of this, we have our traditional Hero Quest, more familiar map. So I thought that was really cool. They were handing these out at the booth as well. But now to the set itself. The dense jungle surrounding the mountains at World's Edge, an ancient dwarven civilization finds new roots. A sacred artifact prized by the dwarven refugees of Keller's Keep has been stolen, and a dread affliction racks the land. Crystalline growths have developed on the fauna of the jungle, and the creatures have gone into a frenzy. Venture into the perilous jungle lands to uproot the curse that has befallen the region. Vanquish evil, make bold choices, and follow your path to unique endings through an unprecedented choose-your-own-adventure mechanic. Discover what vile secret looms beneath the canopy before all is lost. This features 16 thrilling quests, a choose-your-own-adventure mechanic, and the introduction of the Berserker and Explorer heroes. So let me show you the back of the box real quick before I break this thing open. So there's a lot of red on the back of that box. I think this is more red than we've seen in any of our other expansions. All right, so let's see what's inside, shall we? I know we're a little late to the party. Jungles of Delthrak ended up getting released by Target, I guess, a couple weeks, and then Amazon, and then even has Repulse, I think, before Hero Quest, or before Gen Con. So everybody's already seen it. I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. So, our first page of punch boards. Notice the vibrant colors. We have outside boards, we have what appears to be running water over rock, we've got webbing, we've got jungle and ground blocking terrain, and these I believe are our little crawly creatures, the spawnlings that will be attacking us later. On the back of all of these, we have other tiles. So some kind of giant, I think that's a man-eating plant or something. I haven't read the book. We've got interesting looking dinosaur bones. I'm not sure what all these, there's some sort of hammer, it looks like. And there's the bow. So this could be the stuff from when the heroes drop their stuff. We've got new skull looking tiles, and these are the creeping vines, which are different from the mythic tier ones. This is gorgeous. I think this. And then we've got like wall tiles here. So, all right, so that's the first set of tiles. Here's our second set. Ooh, misty green skull things. Some sort of dwarf. Looks like some kind of plant creature thing. Looks ghostly. That's pretty cool looking. These look like some kind of web cocoons. I believe we have a bridge here. A giant outdoor tile. On the back of this one, we have that same giant outdoor tile at night. More creepy vine things. Oh, here's bundles of hero stuff. That looks like a warrior, a wizard, another warrior. So, I mean, basically the main set is 3 warriors and a wizard. So, and then over here on the back of the bridge, we have something that looks like a tar pit, maybe, with bones stuck in it. That's very cool looking. So here we have our quest book. It is extremely thick. We have this clocking in at a whopping, are they not numbered really? Oh, there it is, page 49. 51 pages. So this page, of course, says what the symbology, what each thing will represent on the map. So that's kind of cool. That's a nice way of putting things for the designing your own adventures. In the very beginning, we have our alchemist shop, followed by what everything kind of is. There's the basic contents of the box. We're not going to go over the quest book. Most of this has already been done. Most of it's already been spoiled for people. Good for them. I just want to see what's in here. So, we lift up this. And underneath that, we've got this one. So we'll go through each of these miniatures and we'll set them up where you can see them. So I believe this is... What is that? The Blight Crawler, I think? That is... Oh, that's the Skull Blight. So it's the new undead monster, I believe. We have a sort of goblin warlock figure, which I believe is like the Dread Sorcerer. It's a blank figure used for, you know, whatever bad guy you need it for. We have the Raptor, which is a little bit bigger than I expected it to be. That is kind of cool. This is the evil one. We also have one that is a follower, or I'm sorry, an animal companion. That's kind of cool looking. Along with our other animal companion, some sort of saber-toothed tiger cat thing with with a stubby little tail, which is the only complaint that most people have. We have two new heroes with this set. We have a male and female berserker. Now those berserkers are different from the barbarian. They're not allowed to use range weapons, and that's what gives them their 3 skills. Their starting stats, they have an attack die of 3, defend die of 2, body of 7, and a mind of 2. And their starting weapon is a broadsword, which, I mean, they are obviously depicted with a battle axe, but I mean, you'll have to get there in time. The text is, you are the berserker, a powerful fighter who grows stronger as the odds become more dire. You know how to channel pain and fury into deft power. Because you like to get up and close and personal in combat, you do not get to use ranged weapons. So here's our picture of our male berserker with his sculpt. Our female berserker with her sculpt. And then they have 3 skills. Here's what the skill card looks like on the back. Yeah, it's very pretty. Their first skill we have here is called Enrage. As an action, you may lose up to 2 body points. To immediately make an attack, add additional attack die equal to the number of body points that you lose. And this is only allowed to be used once per quest. We have Retaliation. This skill cannot be used unless you have 5 or fewer body points. So it's after you take damage, or you use that the ability we just spoke of, and then follow it up with this. You may use this skill when you take damage from an adjacent monster. Immediately make an attack against that monster. May be used once per quest. So then we'll switch that out so I can grab this real quick. And this one is Frenzy. The skill cannot be used unless you have 3 or fewer body points, as in on your way out. As an action, you may make a single sweeping attack against all monsters adjacent and diagonal to you. May be used once per quest. So that's the big ones for him. Then we had these Dwarven Explorers. Here's the 2 sculpts here. And those explorers are dwarves, but they're not the dwarf. So at least on my table, I would allow most likely people to use artifacts that can be used by a dwarf, just like there are artifacts that can be used by elves. And we now have the Rogue Arabellathorn, which is an elf, but not the elf. Here we have dwarves that are not the dwarf. Interesting thing about this dwarf his starting weapon is a hand axe. And now in First Light, the dwarf starts with a hand axe versus the game system where the dwarf starts with a short sword. I did ask about that and was told that it's, even though it's two different dwarves, one with different weapons, they're both called the dwarf, so you can only have one of the dwarf in a party. Because I was like, oh, hey, now that we've got this dwarf plus the game system dwarf and the dwarf from Jungles of Delthrak, could we play with an all-dwarf party? I was told no. Not yet. Their stats are attack die of 2, defend die of 2, body of 5, mind of 5. Like I said, they start with the hand axe. So there are those two. I'm not sure which. I think that's the female and that's the male. They have 3 skills as well. Trapsmith, once per turn. When you move into a square adjacent to one or more traps, Zargon must alert you. He does not, however, have to place a trap tile on the board. Traps are still considered concealed and not triggered. So you know there's a trap next to you, you just don't know where next to you it is. Sort of like a game of Minesweeper. So there's the back of that card. Danger Sense. Once per turn, when you draw a hazard card from the treasure deck, you may return that card to the bottom of the deck and draw a new card. This has been asked several times whether or not that includes wandering monsters. No, it does not. It only includes cards that actually say hazard from the treasure deck, according to Avalon Hill. Treasure Hunter. Whenever you draw a card from the treasure deck that rewards you with gold coins, you find an additional 25 gold coins. Now, the interesting thing, none of these say usable once per quest. So these sound like they are passive skills that are constantly active for the Dwarven Explorer. Now, one of the things that I heard, I didn't get to play the games at Gen Con this year because I was at all kinds of other different things. But I heard a lot of people saying that the Explorer is a lot more crunchy than the traditional elf and died quite often because that dwarf is not allowed to wear metal armor. It says, you are the Explorer, a tenacious adventurer with a knack for finding that which is hidden. You don't wear metal armor so as to nimbly avoid the traps. Like the dwarf, you are right there distinguishing it. You are able to disarm traps without the use of a toolkit. And when you do so, you roll a combat die. If you roll a black shield, you fail. And on any other roll result, you succeed. Okay, so we have the interesting thing about the Raptor is that there is 2 cards for it. One is the Raptor is a faithful animal ally. They're bonded to one hero and take their turn immediately following the turn of their allied hero. They can move, attack, and defend, but cannot perform other actions or use potions, and they have the unique talent for opening doors. It has 8 movement squares, 2 attack dice, and is allowed to do attack diagonally, I believe. No, oh, I see. The Raptor is fast and can move before and after making attacks, so it can split its attacks. So attack 2, defend, or split its move. Attack 2, defend 2, body 3, mind 3. So this is the stats for the Ally Raptor. Now, for after that, we have the Enemy Raptor. The Enemy Raptor's stats say that it is a clever tactician. I would have to look that up in the book. Its movement square is 8, attack 3, defend 2, body 2, mind 3. So there is that card. They are pretty much identical except for the symbol on the card showing that it's a bad guy. Okay, then we have the Saber Fang. The Saber Fang is a faithful animal ally. They're bonded to one hero and take their turn immediately following the turn of their allied hero. They can move, attack, and defend, but cannot perform other actions, use potions, or open doors. The Saber Fang moves unaffected through squares containing hindering terrain and revealed pit traps. So that's nice. They're very nimble, I guess. So there's his card. All right, then we go into some of the bad guys. We have the Blight Crawler. The Blight Crawler moves 7, attacks 4, defend 4, body 3, mind 4. It has Spawn, Agile, and Venomous. And it is a giant spider, which apparently has been affected by this blight that they were talking about earlier. So next we have the Blight Weaver. Move 7, attack 2, defend 2, body 1, mind 2. Each Blight Weaver may cast the following dread spells once per quest: Channel Dread and Creeping Grasp. So this is the, and it's been said before, it's the cultist from the Return of the Dread Moon set, only this one is green, and the spells they have access to, one is the same, the Channel Dread, and the other one is a little bit different. Then we've got our biggest monster that we have in this set, the Giant Ape. Movement 8, attack 4, defend 3, body 7, mind 5, and he is also an agile creature. There's his card, and here's the big boy himself. I think he looks bigger than some of the ogres. All right, then we have a couple of repeats in this set. We have we've got the Goblin Archer that we had in our previous set. There's the same card as before, and they give you 2 of these little guys, one of each of the sculpts. We have next the Serpent. Movement 8, attack 4, defend 3, body 6, mind 3. He has Spawn and Venomous, and he is another big chunky mini. We have another repeat with our Skeleton Archer that we had in the previous, in the Attack of the Ogre Horde set. And we get 2 more of those. Then we have the Skull Blight that I mentioned earlier. His stats are 6 move, 3 attack, 2 defend, 2 body, 0 mind, as the undead normally are. And he has Entangling Roots as a ability, which we'll have to read the book to find out more about. Then we have an interesting enemy, the Spawnling. These are the tiles that we looked at originally. Move 3, attack 0, defend 0, body 1, mind 0. They're venomous, they're agile. If a hero ends their turn with a Spawnling on their card, they take a body point of damage for each Spawnling attached to them. This damage cannot be defended against. And that damage, of course, is also going to include the venom that we just discussed. So the bad guys that have spawn that we know of are the snake and the spider. And so they make these little spawnlings that crawl around on the board, and when they catch up to a hero, they get on the hero card. That's how that works. Apparently in the game, there's also going to be like a giant centipede somewhere that also makes spawnlings. All right, now this is something that, I mean, I'm sure most of you already know, but they included alchemy cards for this set. Alchemy was last seen again in the Rise of the Dread Moon, which was their previous original expansion. Here we have a potion of healing, a potion of elder wisdom, a spider step elixir, and the potion of serpent's blood. We'll set those right here so that you can see how they work. I'm not going to read every card because that would take forever. All right, we have a new artifact, the Ember Wrought Diadem and the Sapphire Skull. Those are the 2 artifacts in this one. Oh, here's another one, Bracers of the Wild. Now this one is interesting because you slip these on and the rhythm of nature courses through you. They have armor. This magical leather bracers grant you 1 additional defend die. While wearing these bracers, you move unaffected through squares containing furniture and hidden terrain. You may also add 2 squares to your movement, and it is allowed to be combined with the helmet and or the shield. Interesting thing is it does not say that it can't be used by anyone. We have the Girdle of Might. Gems have been affixed to this coarse fabric. This enchanted girdle grants you 1 additional attack die on non-ranged weapon attacks. And here it does say may not be used by the wizard. The Fang Warden Amulet. Your raptor friend nuzzles against the palm of your hand. You use this magical armlet to call forth a raptor animal ally. If the raptor is defeated, the armlet's power goes dormant. Its power replenishes if the hero accomplishes or completes 2 quests without its assistance. This artifact may only be used once per quest. So that's a good way to get yourself the raptor companion. And then we have our regular treasure card. We have a hazard, which, as we've just discussed, is exactly what the Dwarven Explorer can ignore. We have the Ancient Dwarven Relic, which is interesting that it's in the regular treasure deck. Despite the passage of time, it's pristine. You discover one of Delthrak's forgotten treasures. This piece of elegant Dwarven artistry is worth 50 gold coins. Do not return this card to the treasure deck. So you just find a little piece of the past from the dwarves that are hiding here after leaving Kelvin's Keep. There's the Emerald Heart of Delthrak itself, which again, regular treasure card. It says the jungles were once this shade of verdant green before the blight. This rare gemstone is prized by Delthrak's inhabitants and can be sold for 75 gold coins. Do not return this card to the deck. So it's just a gem that has not been corrupted, apparently. And of course, it talks about the vibrant green, but they're all in black and white. So, oh, we have another hazard. Again, there's a hazard card. I'm not going to read what they are. You can slow down the video and do that yourself if you would like to. And that brings us to the 2 spells in this set. Creeping Grasp, which is apparently only usable by the green cultist guy, because we haven't seen anybody else be able to use this. And Channel Dread, which is the repeated spell from Rise of the Dread Moon. Okay, next in our set, we have our treasure pile. And we have a very beautiful statue. It's one of the better statues that we've seen so far. We have these 2 interesting reflecting pool things, which are supposed to act like water until you put these things in them. This creates fire, which you are allowed to move through, but if you stop in, it hurts. And then we have blighted crystals. And these, if the dread cultists or these jungle cultist guys are standing next to them when they cast Channel Dread, it gives them a boost. That is it for the box. That's everything that we've got. Oh, buying it at Gen Con, like I said, got me these Jungles of Delthrak dice, which, as you can see, are a much darker green than the Mountain Dew set that they gave away for free. So, lots of goodies, lots of more stuff for our sandboxes, lots of fun, and it's now ready to go. And since First Light, they seem to have listened to us about the box cover, which most people hated due to the AI art. They've changed that cover, and now they have not announced when it's coming. Looks like it won't be until after the Christmas season. So we whined. They listened, which was good, because I think they were legitimate complaints. And it may have put back the production time so that we're not going to get First Light before Christmas, and we'll get it sometime into the new year. So this set, which has tons of stuff, will just have to hold us all over. Well, that's it from the men here in the cave. We wish you a good evening and good gaming. Have fun out there.